What did that do? Hmm. What? Okay, so now I'm on two things. I don't know. Oh man. Okay. I don't understand what's going on here. Okay. I'm going to X out of this on my phone and just use the computer. So it does work. Here's the lessons on. Okay. So it does work. Good. I'm glad it's recording too. Okay. So it says a couple of listening. Probably let's go. Weird.
It works.
That's good.
There's also an app for it.
There is?
Yes, so you can't join it on the actual website because it says that there's, you try to join it from the actual site and it says that the link's not available or something.
Okay.
But there is an app to download and you can put in the ID and the password and everything.
Awesome. Awesome. For those of you that are on here and I just don't know it, three or four of you. I don't know if they'd be able to respond, would they?
You can turn your microphone and your own video.
Okay. Hello, test 1, 2, 3. Can anybody hear me? Can anyone respond? I'm just going to assume that you're there. Okay. And we'll start. So for those of you that can hear me, there's no need to respond because this is just a formal introductory meeting. And we have Alyssa here. And I think a few are coming in later. So we'll just see. In the world is that? You gotta be kidding me. I'm trying to figure out the TV here. So basically, I've heard a few students on campus wanting to start a debate team, and I thought that was a really cool idea, and I knew that you guys would also be interested in helping. And what is this? PC. Oh, right. There we go. Right, let me see if this works. Hold on one second. So I made a PowerPoint that just shows kind of the things that we have to do to be an actual club on campus, which is basically just 3 things. As soon as I get this set up. Okay. It should be popping up here. Okay, this was not doing this about 5 minutes ago. I'll be editing this video to make it shorter before I post it. Okay, since it's just Alyssa right now, we won't worry about Bluetoothing it to the, so I'll just turn it towards her. Maybe you guys can see the screen. Nope. Let's see. No. I don't know if they can see this on there. I'm assuming they can. So if not, I'll just send the PowerPoint. So the first thing is, let's first go to what we have to be a club. We have to have a constitution, a faculty or staff advisor, and at least 5 students. So we have that. As a matter of fact, I think we have 14 total that have said that they would like to help. So the constitution, we could do one of 2 things. We could either, I could write it and bring it to the next meeting and just give you each a copy, and maybe we could all edit it or add our own thing or whatever, or we could spend a day writing it as a group. I don't know how that would work because everybody's schedule is so tight already. We'll probably just, I think it'd be okay if I just wrote it and brought it in for your guys' approval and addition. I'll be sitting down with the dean, of course, to ask questions about what all has to be in the Constitution. A faculty and staff advisor, just keep some staff and faculty in mind because I haven't really thought of anybody. Probably needs to be somebody that is going to let us do our own thing, not meaning just run with it and make all the decisions without certain things approval, but someone who's going to be a little bit lenient and not so controlling, if that makes sense. Just have some people in mind, and like I said, we have 5 students already. I did make a few things about what we definitely need to have in the Constitution. So we'll definitely have to have purpose. We'll definitely have to have what was called in the guide that I picked up last week, an executive council or executive board. Either way, it doesn't matter what it's called. Most clubs here on campus have an executive board that leads the group. We have the advisor, the members, of course, qualifications for the positions and offices, ways to conduct our business and meetings, and then just different things about how we'll schedule the debates, how they'll be set up. Probably have to spend 2 or 3 more meetings deciding how that's going to happen, because honestly, I've never been in a debate team. I've never had one. Did you have one at your high school? I didn't have one at my high school, and I know that some in the area have them, so I know that they have competitions. I know that they have like tournaments, and you can possibly win scholarships for winning certain debates, and I know that it's going to help almost everybody in this group along with their profession. I'm pretty sure everybody that I've asked would like to have that on their resume. Definitely a resume builder. For that exec board, I definitely think that they should make all the major decisions for the club, that each office should be held for exactly 1 year, just general stuff. Each candidate can only be nominated and elected by the members. But this first semester, if we decide to start this first semester like in January or February, if we want to plan the club from now until then, I guess we could probably just do it informally and have like we don't even have to have an election really, just have somebody sign up. Like with the 14 members that we have, there's just about a position for everybody in leadership that we can just kind of informally write ourselves in. But then, of course, at the end of the first semester that we have this, we'll have elections for the next upcoming academic year, which would be 2020 and 2021. So if basically, like I said, if you were invited to this meeting, and if you're watching this right now or you're watching this later, you're guaranteed a position in leadership. That's just something that I think should be done, because everybody I know is trustworthy. I've sat down and talked with a lot of you. I've served with you in different clubs and stuff. So just throwing this out there, this could change, definitely could be subject to be edited, but just something that I was thinking, based on a few other formats that I've seen for different university debate teams. They have a president, vice president, treasurer, rules chair, service chair, research chair, and engagements chair, which those were weird terms until I researched them, and they actually did make sense. So we'll just go through them at each of the time. The president is a typical president. They'll lead all the meetings. They'll stay in contact with the advisor for club questions or issues. They'll be responsible for maintaining order, just general things that happen in our clubs. The vice president will be the same, just fill in for the president when absent, assist the president in meetings, take minutes, so they'll kind of act as a secretary as well, since this isn't going to be a huge club, so I don't think we would. But if we did want to make a secretary position, I certainly wouldn't be opposed to that. And then, of course, attend the SGA meetings. The treasurer would also attend SGA meetings, but kind of share that with vice president. Collect dues if we do require dues. We don't have to necessarily, just something if we did decide to do that. Treasurer would be responsible for that. Just maintaining financial records, and then these chair positions really threw me for a loop, because I didn't understand what that meant at first. I was like, what in the world is a rules chair? So in a typical debate team, at least for university debate teams, they have something called a rules chair, and whenever we're just preparing for a debate, there have to be rules made. So if we're going to be leading this and participating in it ourselves, we have to make rules. So this rules chair will set up a committee, and they will write down like time limits, speaking order, rebuttals, scoring, stuff like that. And the members of this committee can still participate in debates. That's something that I think we should definitely do, is that if you are a member of the debate team, you're guaranteed participation in debates. I think that's why everybody's joining, and I would hate for somebody to be like a rules official unless they absolutely wanted to be. If they really want to debate, then I think we should let them have that opportunity. So that doesn't mean that it excludes you from debating. So the same thing with the research chair. It's a committee that sits down and looks through the different types of research that we could do for certain debates. They'll look up topics. They will provide different topics that we could possibly debate, and just be in general correlation with the rest of the club on stuff like that. Yeah, so just different sources that we use. And then the service chair thing is like someone who would lead this committee that determines how people serve on different debate teams. So, it definitely needs to be randomized. There's no way we could sit down and say, this person needs to be on this team and this person needs to be on that team. That's a bit unfair, and I could see that there would be bias in that. So they would be responsible for designing a system where we could pick these people in random order and put them on so they could serve on teams in random order. And also they would be in charge of making sure that everybody gets to participate in some way, some shape, form, or fashion, even if it is alternating their turns, so on and so forth. And the engagements chair is a bit different. I don't know why we can't just call this the events coordinator or something like that, a little more simple, because all they're doing basically is setting up the event, finding where we could have it, setting up the materials that we need for the debates, also promoting it on social media. Like anytime we have something like our first meeting or something like that, they would reach out to the students and let them know that we're having some sort of event or debate or meeting, anything along those lines. Yeah, so, and then like I said, the club members are automatically accepted. No one should be denied access to the club. Every member is guaranteed an opportunity to participate in debates. Now, we could look at that. Like, let's say we had 30 members. It's kind of a stretch, but it is possible I don't necessarily think that all 30 should participate in one debate. That would take way too long and that'd be way too cumbersome. But at least they have the chance to participate in at least one debate per semester. I think that would be fair, definitely. And the service committee, of course, would be responsible for finding out a way to let them serve the way they want to. And since there is no set number of committee members, it would be nice if every member that we did have served in at least some form of leadership. Now, you know, definitely want to let them feel included. And like I said, we can discuss the dues in future time. But so back to the advisor, we definitely need an advisor because we don't have anybody yet, and that's one of our main things that we need to start this club. Just think of somebody who we could use, and as a matter of fact, we could technically use two, but we only need one. And I've already had a few come up to me and say they would like to do it, but I'm not going to recommend that to the group until you guys give me some names. We open the floor for discussion on that. Like I said, the club is for the students, not for the advisor, and they have to be willing to follow the direction of the club and not the opposite. Now, they definitely need to be there for institutional stuff, you know, like directing us in financial matters. They have to sign off on POs and stuff like that. But we don't want somebody who's just going to control us, if that makes sense. And we have great faculty, great staff here, so I don't think we would run into that problem. But just keeping that in mind, and so that's definitely a requirement that we have. So I'm thinking only 1 month, one meeting a month like this until January, which leaves us only two. November and December, maybe something in mid-November before Thanksgiving, and the second one right before we leave for school. It doesn't matter. We can only meet once again if you want to. And then once we roll out the club in January, if we wanted to be ready for the first meeting, then only have one meeting a month then. I don't think it would be necessary to meet more than once a month. Let's see. No, I don't think they should last longer than 30 minutes. As a matter of fact, they can't last longer than 30 minutes because this Zoom thing only allows 30 minutes free. As a matter of fact, I don't know how much time I have left. Past that, you have to pay $50. Yeah, so I don't want to do that. So that would give us a good time limit to be efficient. And I know everybody has a tight schedule. I do. So let's not make this unnecessarily long. And of course, we could discuss our events later on when we all get together and when you guys send in your comments and stuff about how often we should have these events. And of course, if we sit down with an advisor that maybe they have some experience leading debate teams, if we could find somebody here, I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about asking any advisors. I don't know of any, but I think that would be. I think that'd be good if we asked an advisor that has experience with a debate team. I definitely have lots of resources that I could send you guys to read if you want me to about how to set one of these up. I think this is a good direction, but of course we can talk about that later. So different things that I'm going to ask you guys to approve would first be, should we continue this setup or should we try something different? You know, should we try this with the exec board and the way that they make decisions? You know, is January a good time to start? Should we wait a little bit longer? Should we postpone it to February or March? You know, this first semester is going to be kind of an informal setup. But definitely try to roll something out formally for the next semester, the next school year. So that's the first thing I'd like to ask. Should we continue with that? The next thing, should we continue with this meeting schedule while we're still planning on how this club should be set up? Should we still meet once a month, you know, like once before November, and maybe once before our first meeting? I don't know. You guys give me some input on that. And then last, should we start listing ideas for future debates and or events? I don't think that could hurt. There's not too early, definitely not too early to start doing that. You know, we could do intercollegiate activities, which would require us debating other teams, or we could do internal debates where we have members of our own club versus members of our own club. You know, that's up to you guys completely. So just keep those things in mind. And the last thing we need to talk about is when our next meeting will be. We could do it before Thanksgiving, or we could do it after we come back. I know the week after Thanksgiving is really hectic for a lot of people, so that's why I say we might want to get it in before Thanksgiving. And we don't have to meet in person if you don't want to. I mean, we got this Zoom thing. We can try to find a time where everybody could log in and do it electronically, or we could meet in person. I would like to meet in person though next time, because I would have a physical constitution to give to you guys, so you guys can have that formal copy. But like I said, it's no big deal. I can give it to your own school, stuff like that. So just send me whenever you're generally available, what days of the week you're pretty much free. I know this time, well, everybody said that this time was an open time, but that's all right. We can find a different time if you need. That's about it. Do you have anything?
Do one of those survey monthly.
Yes, we will do that. We will send those surveys. That's good. That's a good idea. So I'll try to figure out how to do that.
I know of another like conference call thing that you might want to try instead.
That's true. So we might not use Zoom. The only reason I use Zoom is because that's what we use in Hackberry and Oak. I'm kind of familiar with it, but we can definitely switch that, especially if it's maybe 30 minutes. Because like I said, I don't feel like paying $50 after 30 minutes. That's it. So, make sure I got everything. That's about it. Yeah, so like I said, any questions, email me, send it in the group me. I'll send out one of those surveys, the Survey Monkey things that we do, criminal justice quite a bit, and ask what time you guys are available, when you'd like to have the next meeting, how you would like to have it. We want to do this around everybody's schedule. We don't want to force anybody into anything, and we definitely don't want to take up more time than we already have, because I know I'm busy, you guys are busy, we're all busy people, and we don't want to extend things further than they should be extended. So just don't be afraid to let me know if this is too much. You know, you're certainly welcome. There are no requirements. Just because you miss a meeting doesn't mean that you'll be penalized by any means. This is very informal, just trying to get this thing started. Okay. Can anybody hear me? Is anybody on here? I don't think so, because it says participants is only me. So either people left or they never came at all. But I'll be posting this on YouTube. It'll be under my personal page. I'll send you a link in the group me and in an email if you need. And you can also use the Zoom app, because this would be on there too, on the website. Pretty sure it's been recorded. So let's see. I need to go back to that page. Okay. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you next time.